What's up guys, Colson here from Colson Studios. Welcome back to another video. Today, for a school project of mine, I've chosen to make a tutorial on how to craft a fan film. For those who don't know, a fan film is a short film that's inspired by pre-existing characters or universes. Some of the popular ones include DC, Marvel, and Star Wars fan films, along with many others. I especially enjoy crafting short pieces about Ben 10 and Spider-Man, as they are my two all-time favorite characters. So, without further ado, let's hop into the first stage of filmmaking, pre-production. Also guys, just a quick disclaimer here, I just had my wisdom teeth removed a couple days ago, so my face is really swollen right now, so yeah. This first step is arguably the most important. In order to make an effective fan film, there must be passion behind it, meaning you need to truly care about the characters and universes involved in your story. This is true of any film you're making, but especially fan films. Once you've chosen your characters and universe, it's often helpful to find your location. This step often comes later with higher budget films, but little money is often involved when making fan films. With that being said, it's super beneficial to write your film around a location that you already have access to, free of charge. Or you could just shoot in locations without permission. Just an idea. Developing your story is arguably one of, if not the most difficult step of the filmmaking process. Storytelling is a very complex art form, and screenwriting takes it to the next level. A whole book can be written about this step, and fortunately for us filmmakers, there are a ton of them. Save the Cat by Blake Snyder, for example, has been a bestseller for over 15 years, and it goes beyond in depth about the screenwriting process. I'd highly recommend it, along with watching tutorials by Film Riot and others as well. This step can be a bit challenging. Believe me, I know. In order to craft an effective fan film, it's often beneficial to collaborate with others. Unfortunately for guys like me, this is nearly impossible to do, as I know very few people who are passionate about filmmaking and have the time to pursue it. With that being said, you may be able to find cast and crew members through platforms like Facebook. If you have some luck with this, always remember to treat them with kindness and respect. Simply letting your cast and crew know that they're appreciated goes a long way. I've always been a bit iffy about this step, but it's still important nonetheless. Creating a shot list and storyboard for your production is often very helpful when keeping organized, and significantly lowers the chance of you forgetting things on set. Fortunately, they're pretty straightforward, and there's plenty of tutorials online. I've also made a shot list template a while back that you can use, link in description. This is hands down my least favorite part of making fan films, as it's a serious pain. If you're planning to film by yourself, then you can just skip this step and shoot whenever you please. If you have a cast and crew though, you'll unfortunately have to schedule. This process is typically a lot smoother if money is involved, since people are more willing to help out if they're getting paid. This is almost never the case with fan films though, so expect to struggle a bit finding a day to shoot that works for everyone. Do your best to be polite and understanding towards your cast and crew, but not afraid to be firm when needed. To anyone currently scheduling, good luck, and let God have mercy on your soul. Now that you've finished pre-production on your fan film, it's time to shoot it. There are many different areas that I could explain, such as lighting and audio. However, this would take up the majority of the tutorial, and there's plenty of others out there that can explain these things better than me. Instead, I'll give you some practical tips for shooting your fan film. This tip comes from the legend that is Ryan Conley, creator and host of Film Riot. He explained in an episode that many actors hold back when shooting, which is often very noticeable to the audience. More often than not, films are exaggerated, meaning their performances need to be too. If you work harder than you think you need to, you'll likely find that your film significantly benefits from it. This is true in acting and filmmaking, especially with fight scenes and dialogue scenes. Truth be told, this may be the most important piece of advice in this entire tutorial. As much as you may want to make your fan film, your cast and crew must come first. Being kind and patient with them, along with providing catering, will take you a long way. I made this mistake for years, having my friends shoot in freezing temperatures without proper clothing or food. Whether you're shooting at a paid or a free location, you should always leave it how it was when you got there. This is not only the right thing to do, but also leaves a good impression on the owner of the location. Who knows, you might be allowed to shoot at other locations if someone speaks highly of you. I'll be honest, I never used to do this. Organizing your files is arguably the most important step of post-production. Having everything backed up to a safe place on your computer, along with storage devices like external hard drives, is a good first step. I personally use Adobe Premiere Pro, which allows me to create what they call bins. These are folders inside your project file where you can store clips, audio, graphics, and much more. Even if you don't use Premiere, most editing softwares provide this feature. If your fan film is rather short, then you can likely skip this step. If not, however, it's often helpful to create a plan before editing. This can include the pacing and order of scenes, fonts and LUTs used, and lots more. Many of these things are typically chosen in pre-production, but it's still good to have an editing plan anyway. Depending on the length of your fan film, this step of the editing process may eat up the most time. Forming the rough cut, along with smoothing it out as well, is an art in itself. Don't worry about it being polished yet though. After you form the rough cut of your fan film, it's time to smooth it out. Being diagnosed with OCD, this step used to take me forever. A tip I learned from Film Riot though is to make your cut too tight, then let it breathe a little again. If that doesn't make sense, I'd recommend checking out the tutorial. I'll be blunt. Editing is hard. Each step of the process could have its own whole masterclass on it, but I'll give a basic rundown. When editing your fan film's audio, make sure you include the basics, such as a music track, ambience, sound effects, and Foley. Also be sure to mix everything properly. This can be very difficult, so just practice and try to improve with each project. I'm not even going to touch on color grading because it's so complex and I know very little about it. If you made it this far, congratulations. You've completed your fan film. All that's left is to render, export, and upload it. The rendering process is different on everyone's editing software, but pretty simple nonetheless. This step basically just helps your film look better, both in your project file and after it's been exported. As far as exporting goes, everyone has their own preferences. D for Darius, a talented filmmaker on YouTube, made a tutorial a while back that goes in depth on how to export projects. I'd recommend checking it out. Uploading also varies on each social media platform. I only use YouTube, which has plenty of tutorials on how to use it. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If it helped you, consider liking and subscribing down below, and check out all my friends' channels in the description as well. We've got more shorts and fan films coming soon, and apart from that, we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.